My name is Vinny Lingham. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Civic. We haven't launched yet. We're launching in 2 weeks' time. But I'm here today to talk about a topic which I think should interest everyone. It's part of the evolution of identities online. And with the recent hacks, etc., identity information being compromised, we think this is a very relevant topic. So when we look at the components of an identity system, online identity system, we essentially have, the needs are you have to be able to issue an identity, store it, authenticate, authorize, and then over time recover, update, and audit. So online identity systems they've become very advanced over time, and it sits in the background. But we've also seen an evolution in how it's actually changed. And so if you look in the 90s, we had this centralization of identity where you had organizations like ICANN issuing certificates and validating identities, and then you also had them moving towards CAs with issued identities, and they had root authenticators, and then you'd have a hierarchical approach to that. And then it evolved slightly to systems like Microsoft Passport, where you had you can use Microsoft Passport on multiple websites to log in, but Microsoft already had all your information. It wasn't using the sort of OAuth systems of today, which you see in more user-centric identity systems like Facebook Connect. And there obviously are privacy concerns around there because you have one company tracking all the logins, and you have to basically prove that you logged into one site to log into another. So you probably use a Google login or LinkedIn or Facebook Connect on multiple sites. There are some concerns around there. It's not fully decentralized yet. And so where we think it's going, I think the industry is moving towards this space, is self-sovereign identities. So identities that you control, you own, and you don't need to rely on any third party. And there's a lot of privacy built into that. And so if you think of what a self-sovereign identity is, it's who you are biologically, and then any attributes which get appended to that. So whether you're a citizen of one country or another, whether you have a driver's license or not, etc. But your identity is self-sovereign, and you control it, and you can control the data. And so the principles of a self-sovereign identity, there's about 10, 11 that have been defined in the industry, and I think the industry is moving towards making sure that we can fulfill all these various attributes. But essentially getting to the point where, with self-sovereign identities, you can solve refugee crises, you can solve some of the data breach and hack problems out there today. And so I think we're trying to move towards being able to rely on an individual and who they are and who they've been validated as being, and without having to require a third party in that process. And so why is this relevant now? And so if you look at the world today, 2/3 of the world have a mobile phone. So in order to store identity credentials, it can and is being done on mobile devices. And it is actually a pretty secure way of doing it because it's decentralized. There's no one single point of failure. If everyone stored their identity on their phone, to hack 100 million identities, you have to hack 100 million phones simultaneously. And so it's really, really difficult to do. And so when you look at blockchain technology as well, this provides an amazing new realm of technology that you can apply with the cryptographic keys that sit within the blockchain, and how you can use that to unlock and lock identities and identity information. And actually, you don't actually store the ID information on the blockchain because it is a public ledger, but you store hashes and you use some of the cryptographic keys to unlock access points and such. So there is a lot happening in that space, and we think that that's going to be a key driver for this change. And then finally, global ID theft is costing the world's economy hundreds of billions of dollars, and that number is going up every single year. So you're finding more and more paranoia and fear about identities being breached, information getting out there. If you look at the number of companies that got breached last year, it was 1,500 in the US. This year, it's trending to be about 1,800. That number keeps going up. And so your information is already out there. Either you know you've been breached, or you don't know you've been breached. Those are currently pretty much the only two states of breach that you could have as an individual. It's out there. So what we think is the future is moving to a point where there is no single point of failure, and with a decentralized, persistent ID system on mobile devices, we think the world would be a better place. But the reason this is relevant to fintech is, as you guys know, in the fintech realm, one of the biggest problems is a problem I call PNP, person not present. It's drawn on the card not present analogy. How do you verify someone is who they say they are at the end of a device? And if we can solve the identity problem, we can solve for that problem too. Thanks very much.